Well. We got the whole clan again, and once again, we're doing the round table talk of everything Chicago on Shot Central. Hey, it's Stevo Speaks. It's Hayes, Kev, Bobby Valentino, C Dub. And yeah, like I said, we about to talk about all the sports, the latest news coming up next after this video.
Hey,
Ain't gonna lie, that was knocking. That was definitely knocking for sure. But welcome back. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of a roundtable discussion of the whole group here in Shot Town Sports. Hey, let's get straight into it. So I think we're gonna go straight into what is the most things that's going on in the Chicago sports. And it's not good news. It's not good news at all. We just received devastating news that Zach Lavine will be out for the remainder of the season due to a foot injury. I'm not sure exactly if they announced exactly what's wrong with the foot, but it's definitely they said he'll be out for 3 to 4 months, and that was just a tough blow. So the topic at hand is with this news going now, what is the future of the Bulls? What plans should we make? What the future holds? What do we think the front office is going to do? What is office thinking? What is the ownership thinking? I'm gonna throw it to C Dub first. What you thinking?
oh, okay. Honestly, I don't think this is a travesty. Like you said in your opening, I think this marks the end. This is the end of this core of the Chicago Bulls that we had for the last 3, 4 years. It has not worked. We had one playoff appearance. We won one game. We won one play-in game. Lost another play-in game. Now it's the opportunity. You got a budding star in Kobe White. It is no ceiling for this guy, in my opinion. We don't know how good he can be. Let's go ahead. DeMar DeRozan, his contract is up after this season. Let's trade him and get us some pieces for the future. If you feel like it, Nick Vooch, trade him and get some pieces for the future. It is over. Zach need to be traded as well. It is over. It's time to turn the page. This is our opportunity. The basketball guys, sometimes they just give you an opportunity sometimes. Here you go. Shout out to Zach Lavine and his injury, though. I don't want to be happy about an injury from a person, but it is the
No, for sure.
opportunity for the Bulls to move on. That's all I got.
And just to clarify real quick, I wasn't saying necessarily that it was a tremendous loss in the terms of the plan was continuity and they felt like they could make it work. When it comes to that, now that we have to make that talk and go to another lane, I feel like that's what makes it so of a destruction. Because to me, it's a fireable offense now. I'm not giving them another chance. I'm firing them for this. But Bobby, what you thinking?
I'm looking at it like this, man. Like this is something that we've been saying for the last few years. The Chicago Bulls at some point have to pick a direction. I believe right now you got everything that's being thrown in your face. Everything that you have put together has pretty much it can be viewed as a fail. Lonzo Ball didn't work out. Nikola Vucevic, yeah, he gave you maybe I would say maybe a good year and a half. And then, after that, it's still been up and down. And this season it's regressed. Then DeMar DeRozan, I believe that first year was the best that we've seen him, but he has been pretty consistent. And you tried to bring in guys, Tristan Thompson's, Pat Bevs of the world, and it never worked out. Now it's just right at you is those opportunities or those coming to Jesus moments or just looking at reality and saying like, hey, something has to give. Something has to change. Me personally, I don't know what that direction is 100%. But if you was asking me, I believe you have to start with some serious discussions about trading some of your most valuable players on here so you could push for the future. And that starts with Caruso or DeMar DeRozan since Zach Lavine is now hurt.
Hayes, what's your thoughts?
The thing I look at it is this: is that it does put the front office in a bit of a difficult situation. What's up, Al? I know. I talked to my mama this morning.
Thank you.
It's my
Happy
mama.
Make
birthday,
sure you
Mom.
For my mama.
make sure you tell CEA moms happy birthday.
That's funny,
CEA.
but it's CEA. But I think this
I did
this
say
injury.
CEA, did I?
Yeah, you did. Where it is and like how it happened, I think it ultimately just it forces the Bulls to change, and how that change we'll see. But I tell you this: the team has already changed some with just Zach Lavine being out. If this team now finishes this season strong, Zach is going to come back to a completely different situation, and I don't know if he's really quite ready. If this season started off and you requested this trade because you wanted to go to a different place. There's questions around your health, how much you contribute to winning. None of those that is not going to do anything but get stronger. Those questions around you. So when you do come back healthy, you're going to have to try to fit in. And so it's going to force change for the team. It is what it is. I think that it's good that it happened at the same time. Kobe White made his ascension, because if he didn't, we'd be in a very dark place.
Oh my
This
goodness.
is really the fact that Kobe has grown the way that he has this season. It really kind of lessens the impact of this. Not to say that Zach Lavine doesn't mean anything to this team, that he still can't contribute, but could you just imagine where we'd be if Kobe White was playing like last season and this happened?
Bro.
Absolute hell.
Mm.
Hey, go ahead, my boy Kev.
Hey man, you gonna stop forgetting my name?
Hey,
It's
Kev,
I called you Kev.
why did it sound like gnomes were wrestling in the background there for a second, bro?
Somebody was
man.
bowling and shit in the background.
Exactly.
going through it right now. But at
that
the end of the
was
day,
Kev's stomach, y'all. Go ahead.
yeah, I got my tummy drops right here though. You know, it is what it is.
Bro, what is tubby
it's-
drops?
Tummy drops, man. It help your tummy feel better. Stop acting like you don't know what a tummy is.
This is a new brand of Pepto Bismol.
The old people brain. You can only get that when you're 50.
Hey, I ain't 50 yet, but I love to make it there for real. But no, it's Kobe time. At the end of the day, it's Kobe time, and it's time for the Bulls to pick a direction, and that should be the direction that they pick. There's no reason. Obviously, Zach is an integral piece to this squad. Like, they need him out there. But at the end of the day, he's out. His next man up, and the next man that's been up all season has been Kobe and Ayo. And a couple of these young fellas have come in and played really, really well in Zach Lavine's stead. Some people are balking at the notion of a complete youth movement, but it will be better than what we've been seeing, in my opinion. This falsified hope of maybe this core being able to push the Bulls over the hump. They just haven't been able to do it. So at the end of the day, I'm not necessarily saying it's a fireable offense, Stevo, but it's close to one. Zach Lavine begged to be traded from this team, and the Bulls did what they've been doing pretty much since AK got here, with the exception of his first full offseason, and that's sit on their hands. They've been sitting on their hands, hoping that Lonzo would come back, hoping that Zach Lavine would change his mind, hoping that DeRozan would hit the same game-winning shots that he hit the first season when he was here, and none of those things have been happening. So that's the direction they should be going, is a youth movement, in my opinion.
I ain't gonna lie to you. Y'all have a lot of grace for this team. I'm not giving them that grace. I'm not giving you another. You had a chance to improve on what you had. You had multiple chances to make a decision and go a certain direction you wanted to go to. So it's very hesitant for me to sit here and put my trust, especially my trust in Kobe, Ayo, or whoever else we want to keep, in the hands of somebody that's giving a coach that we have no idea how long his deal is, and to somebody that's been sitting on their hands for 3 years talking about, oh, we're going to do continuity while everybody else been doing continuity while improving.
What if the board changed, Stevo? What if the board changed from 3 veterans, three alpha males, into all young team where they listening to the coach and they want to be coached? I'm not saying that Vooch and DeMar and Zach, they don't want to be coached, but what if the scenario change? What if the team changed? It's a young team now. They listening to the coach, and maybe he can do a good job with that. Do you see him being a good coach with young players on the team, with a predominantly young team?
I mean, for somebody, especially if we're gonna start from the coach's aspect, we talking about Billy Donovan. We have a decent. If we may go to Kobe Young route, that's a nice building ground for somebody of the. I wouldn't say the X's and O's in the system that Kobe likes to. I mean that Billy Donovan likes to run. He needs a guard. One, he needs a high usage guard that can facilitate well as score. The next thing you need to find is a high level wing. And to me, you just find those things by really scouting in the draft. You're not going to find a star or somebody of that caliber unless you draft one. And that's a gamble. And this staff hasn't really shown me that they know how to draft a sure thing. They like to draft projects, and I'm done with projects. I'm tired of that. Draft basketball players, people that can help. I don't need time. If you haven't shown me you can turn a project into something yet. So I just don't trust them with
because Kobe White not even their guy.
Right. He was drafted before.
They didn't draft Kobe White.
No. And Ayo probably the closest thing to the project, but the Bulls had every opportunity to trade for DeJounte Murray, who Atlanta was shopping. And who is a viable wing who plays defense. But they
tried
didn't
that.
even
They turned him down. See, that's the thing. You need a partner. Like, I get what you're saying, but like what the Bulls have had to offer, ain't nobody wanted.
Exactly.
So, I mean, let's just be clear. Like, you say they could have tried to trade for DeJounte Murray. They put their best chip on the court in Zach and said, hey, let's build something around Zach. And Atlanta Hawks said, hey, thank you very much. We appreciate you. We know you're trying to ship the light-skinned bastard. We don't want him. We're going to send you over here to Detroit. Let them holler at you. That's what happened.
But Drill, we could have had a chance to get Sabonis. Is that not correct?
Couple seasons ago, for sure. They didn't want
that was a couple seasons ago. Now, keep in mind though, that would have been while we had Vooch, and I can at that point in time, Sabonis has more than exceeded that. But at that point in time, presenting a front court of Domantas Sabonis and Nikola Vucevic would have just been giving rotisserie chickens out from Sam's for free.
Bro, see, yes, because the lane open, bro.
I'd rather deal with that,
bro.
Okay, but would you rather deal with that and then come to the realization, okay, I got Kobe and him to build with?
Well, yeah, I mean that's why I say in hindsight, but you got to understand, like in that moment, there were doubts around, a lot of doubts around Sabonis. Now he's gone out and exceeded all of that. He is what would you say, top 5 center in the league at this point? 10,
absolutely.
Definitely
definitely top 10.
So for sure.
Yeah,
he was definitely 15 to 20 at the time, and Kobe wasn't Kobe at that time as well. Yeah. So I could understand.
And the thing is too, though, is that if you just build a team off the what could have been with the Chicago Bulls team, you have almost an Eastern Conference finalist there. I'm not saying hit on all of them. I'm just saying if you just 2 of them, like look at it, flip Patrick Williams with Tyrese Halliburton. Now you have Tyrese Halliburton and Kobe White on the same team. Like let's say okay, you don't draft Tyrese Halliburton. You people forget Maxey was in that draft as well, but okay, let's say you don't do Maxey. You didn't look at Walker Kessler instead of Dalen Terry. Then you could have let Vooch. Then you could have let Vooch walk this past all season without signing him to that contract, and that gives you now money that you could have used. And so it's just the what could have been with this team. It blows you, and that's where I look at this front office. Like you're not going to hit on everything, but you ain't hit on not one yet. Now, Kobe took to his 5th year. Maybe we talking in 3-4 years of Julian Phillips and Dalen Terry being studs. But as of right now, the woulda, coulda, shouldas just leave you looking at this front office like, damn, dude, you could at least pinch the bitch. Like, what are we talking about, bro?
At the end of the day, they also overvalued Patrick Williams. That's just the reality of it. But they drafted.
Well, I mean, one could say that they overvalued Kobe White too until it worked out.
But they didn't. I'm talking about this regime that drafted. They didn't draft Kobe. They drafted Patrick Williams.
I get that, but still, when everybody was thinking that they were going to trade Kobe to get a big, they decided to stick with Kobe, averaging 8 points off the bench, and that was rewarded.
Amen.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Yeah, but yeah, as you can see, when it comes to the orange basketball, we ain't too happy around this part. And where we heading to now, we ain't gonna get too much motherfucking happy. We going to the goddamn pigskin. As y'all know, if you've been on Twitter, anywhere, do content, even if you ain't in this damn state, city, or region, they are talking about the Bears and what the hell we gonna do with this first pick. You got one side saying we gonna keep Justin. You got one side saying we gonna get Caleb. You got damn you know, the other side of the president that ain't the Republicans and the Democrats. Them
Oh,
motherfuckers
God.
talking about we getting Jaden Drake May and shit. Like I'm just sick of it. But this is the question I'm gonna pose to y'all. But first I go to you. To me, in my opinion, I've already said this to y'all. Y'all already know. Well, I don't give a damn who behind center. We better make this damn playoffs. And I think our president, Kevin Warren, made it pretty clear as well. He ain't got no more time left. He's sick of waiting. And we're probably entering 3 year of this rebuild. Once you get about year 3, it's not necessarily a rebuild. You're starting to make some type of swings toward either contender in the playoffs or championship. So to me, I don't care if it's Justin, I don't care if it's Caleb, whoever's behind center better make the playoffs. Or to me, I think the polls and as well as Flus are at risk of being either on the hot seat or fired. Now I'm gonna pose the question to y'all. I don't necessarily think they'll get fired. I know Flus will most likely get fired if I have to make a guess. But to y'all, if they mess up on next year and don't make the playoffs, regardless who behind the center is they feet to the fire? Are they gone?
Who is that?
I'm gonna go Flus and Pose.
Okay.
Even
I'm gonna
Flus
throw
should
this
have
to
been gone.
Valentino.
I'll go ahead.
Oh, I think it absolutely is gonna be feet to the fire. Because if you trade Justin Fields and then this whole thing is Chicago is impatient right now, and that's why we fighting amongst each other. Not us per se on Chi-Town Sports Central, because we don't do that. But for the casuals or even some people that probably know what the hell they're talking about, they're getting into these arguments for no reason. Because the decision ain't our decision. But what we can say is when those decisions are made, it better be for the best interest of the team. And we are a part of the team who puts the effort in to support that team. So when it comes down to all these decisions that's going to be being made, it got to be the right one. If you think Caleb Williams the guy, look, and I'm not saying he got to come out in year 1 and be a world beater. CJ Stroud is an outlier. Let's make that clear for a lot of people. If he doesn't come out and have a CJ Stroud type year, but we could say, hey, from week 1 through 4, he was all right. 5 through whatever, he improved. To end off the season, he finished that shit strong as hell, gave the Bears an opportunity. You'll live with that. But you can't live with this guy look like Zach Wilson 2.0. We can't live with that.
No.
So whatever the decision is, it got to make sense, and it got to be in the best interest of Chicago.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kev.
I think Eberflus was supposed to be fired after this season. As much as I like the fact that he helped turn the defense around, I don't want a defensive coordinator as my head coach. That's just how it felt this season. Obviously, if he was just the defensive coordinator, I was lobbying for him to take a demotion, which just doesn't happen in the NFL. I believe that was part of the reason why a couple of these offensive coordinators didn't want to come here, because they don't know what's going to happen after this upcoming season. And if you get rid of the head coach, you're most likely getting rid of the offensive coordinator as well. So this is a big audition for Shane Waldron and the rest of that staff that's coming on, because if the Bears do fail and they do fire Eberflus after the season, I expect Shane Waldron to be gone too. And then we're back in year 1 of a rebuild, regardless of who's under center, whether it's Justin Fields or one of these rookie quarterbacks, which means that they also going to have to learn another offense and all the stuff that we're used to seeing as Bears fans. And it's just getting to the point where it's annoying. It's really annoying. Talk about continuity. There is none for the Chicago Bears. And it'll be great to see them take a step forward this year. But I'm tentative about that. Like, honestly, I'm on the fence about which direction they're going to take, regardless of who's under center.
For sure.
Go ahead, Hayes.
I'm not going to say that necessarily. Well, I'll say the feet will probably be to the fire. I don't know if they'll be fired per se just right after the season, because I think you're going to give it. Well, if you go rookie quarterback, you're going to give it a couple years, and I think even if you do, stay with Justin Fields, I think he's going to get that 5th year option as well. Then at that point, looking to give them 2 years under offensive coordinator Shane Waldron instead of having Lugetti dusty ass. But I do say this: there will be one head to roll next season if we don't make the playoffs, and I do think that is Matt Eberflus. I don't think Matt Eberflus makes it to the last year of his contract of this Bears team. You gotta look at it. Even throughout all the turmoil, losing our first 4 games this season, we still improved. We more than doubled our wins from last season.
Yep.
This is another offseason where we're going to add considerable talent in the draft. They're going to go after free agency. And so I think even if that, you're not looking at the rookie quarterback potentially just being the reason that gets you into the playoffs, but we had a top 10 defense to end the season. They're going to be adding to that as well. So I think that the playoff expectations are real, and I think that they're legit, and I understand why. And if that doesn't happen, I do think that hell, if somebody has to debate for 2 days if you're going to keep your job or not, you're in the hot seat whether you realize it or not.
For sure. Yeah.
For sure.
Go ahead, Charlie Wally.
Hey, Charlie Wally. Hey, let me start off with Kevin Warren. I respect him and everything, and I hear him. He talk about he growing impatient, but stop the gaslighting. You just got here. I've been impatient for 38 years, bro. You just got here. Calm that down, bro. You're not gonna fool me, bro. When it comes to the who's on the hot seat, I think Ryan Poles. I think he's cool. He's made significant maneuvers in free agency and made some very good trades. No, he probably made the trade of the year last year. We're trading that number 1 pick and all the things that he got from that. Sure. But I'm with Drip on here. I'm gonna just go a step further. He might not make the middle part of the season if you look at what I don't care if it's Caleb Williams or Justin Fields on the opposing team. If they doing well and the Bears are struggling, especially on defense, you can say goodbye. You can say goodbye to Matt Eberflus. He's gone. But I just got to challenge my man Kev. Waldron ain't going nowhere. He ain't on no house. None of that. I don't care what happened. Waldron ain't going nowhere.
We'll see. I mean, I'm just basing it on like the history of how things go. When you move on from a coach, you move on from everybody for the most part. It's rare that you see an offensive coordinator stay on. It's rare.
He's not a part of Matt.
That's what I'm saying. It's different. It's different because when you think about it, it's like that when you pick that staff. I don't think 100% this was all Eberflus staff of his choice. I think a lot of this was Kevin and Poe's decision because once you show, they basically said in so many words, like we've seen what he did with the defense, and that's why we kept him here. And also, it's keeping his locker room as a unit. But at the same time, I don't think they have that same confidence that you could build a staff because, as you can see, every single one struggled. The worst. I told you before, probably the worst coaches on this staff. What even Luke? It was our wide receiver coach. It was our deceiver. It was our running back coach because none of them could block but one.
He said our deceiver instead of receiver, the deceivers coach. They tricked us.
Wide receiver. He said deceiver. But yeah, it was a multitude of reasons. So like when you have a situation like this, it's different versus when you pick the staff. But you was gonna say something, Hayes?
No, I really my bad, Hayes. But I was just gonna say I get where y'all coming from. It's just based on how the league typically goes. It's everybody, and that's why it was surprising when Eberflus first came here. They already had certain pieces in place. When Ryan Poles first came here, they already had certain things in place. It just seems like it flies in the face of how typically organizations are run when they're making choices at the coaching positions. Is all.
Well, I was just going to add into that is that I think there's something to be said about how they filled out Shane Waldron. To me, if you look at Shane Waldron's staff and how they were viewed around the league, like Thomas Brown, many people thought could be a head coaching candidate.
Yes.
So I really do. Normally, yes, everything Kev says, I will agree with 9.9 times out of 10. The only thing that gives me a little bit to say maybe something is different here is because it feels like they set up a succession plan, meaning that if they do fire Flus and Shane Waldron moves into being the head coach, they got somebody there. And keep in mind, almost all that staff came from the same tree. They have the same terminology, the same system. So I'm just saying maybe. I'm not saying for sure, but I'm just saying maybe there may be something different for that.
That's why.
I think that's a valid point because I think that when you look at that Shane and all his people, it kind of like this whole situation kind of like remind me of this. I know it's basketball, but it was when David Blatt was the head coach. But the front office was really paying attention to how the players responded to Ty Lue, who was, the guy behind the head coach. This can
Wow.
be something that's similar.
Mm.
Hey,
Nice.
how are my players responding to Shane Waldron now when he's giving
Mhm.
command during the offense and things like that? And we, pretty much think that he wants to be a head coach. So if Eberflus, like C-Dub said, is let go during the middle of the season, he's going to have his opportunity at interim to figure it out. And then you can see what you can do after that. So
Mhm.
it's a lot of interesting things for sure.
Yeah, no, well, just to throw in a little thing, I believe yesterday, the Washington Commanders came to a deal that Cliff, what's his name? I keep saying Cliff
Kingsbury.
Kingsbury.
It is Cliff Kingsbury. So
Yeah.
he's
Mhm.
going to be the new OC for the Washington Commanders, and of course, you know how social media works.
Yep.
Caleb shared out and said, "Congratulations, my dog!" And then now everybody in a frenzy. So, what's y'all overall thoughts on it? We ain't go through too much, but just some quick. Go ahead, anybody.
Nothing.
It's not really anything. I make us in better position to try to get them a quarterback out of this draft. He got a relationship with Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is from the DC area. He's born there. I think he's a LA kind of cat now. He gotta be. He painting his nails and stuff like that. So he's
Yeah.
LA.
They do
So
that in
it
DC
is
too.
really nothing. It's nothing.
First of all, his mama's the one that paints his nails. I found out today his mama owns a nail shop. He's been
Yeah.
painting his nails since high school. So
Yeah,
really?
that's his way of like basically showing
Promoting
support.
her business. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got Flower Shop P. Will and Nail Shop Miss Williams.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This man said flowers out.
basically what Kev is saying, anybody with the last name Williams is not welcome to Chicago anymore. That's what he's saying.
Bruh. I believe
Williams.
they
Oh,
said
man.
everything for us.
I don't think
Can't-
it's a big deal, Steve-O, to be honest. Like Caleb Williams is not a Manning. He can't really dictate where he's going to be drafted. Obviously, by him declaring for the draft, he left himself susceptible to going anywhere, depending on what the Bears do with that first pick. He's just showing support for one of his guys, and I don't see anything wrong with it. You shouldn't just go into a shell once you're projected to go over number one overall, and people that you care about are being hired at places. It's okay to shout him out. I don't think that that's any indication that he prefers to go play for the Washington Commanders, though.
Yeah. Can I ask a question for all
Yes,
y'all?
sir.
Could y'all see something like the Bears trading the number one and then trading the number one to the number two pick, then trading the number two pick to the number three pick? If the quest is to get Marvin Harrison Jr.
I
Who's
will
that? New
say
England at number 3?
if that happens,
Mhm.
Ooh.
not only are the Washington Commanders as well as the Patriots, both of their ownership and front office are out of their last goddamn cubicle in their mind.
For
Why?
real, bruh.
The
Why?
last.
This
Do you know how
QB
much? Do you
Go
know
ahead.
how much you got to throw at us? Do you know our asking price is for this?
They did it
We're
for
not
RG3.
acting. We're not going no more than 2 first rounds and 2 second rounds.
Okay, then why you making it
And
that
a
good for
and
us?
a, and a
The
play.
motherfuckers doing it.
No, you gotta think of the frame of why am I moving up one spot to give
They
up
do
my
it.
whole team?
They
You
do
want
it.
that player,
okay.
you want that
From 1
quarterback.
to 2, we the only
They do
people
it.
that done it. And y'all remember
That'd
what
be
happened?
crazy. That'd be
That'd absolutely be
Hey,
crazy.
We the
listen.
only
Is
people
it
that did it.
out of the realm of possibility?
It
No,
was
no.
till
Not.
we did it.
It's not because they already confirmed that it was attempted last season. So we
Mhm.
know it can probably attempted again. But I'm with Steve on this. I believe the chances for that to happen is extremely low, bro.
Mm-hmm. But it would be dope.
It will be.
They gonna give him the keys
All
to the
right.
United Center. He do that.
Nah, for real. Nah, for real.
You can come
Go
in
ahead
here
and
with
run
that
the Bulls
T-Mobile.
too.
They're gonna give him the keys to O Block too. Like, if you need some
Hey,
enforcement.
come here. You can take a picture. Come on.
That's hilarious.
All right, we ain't gonna be on this one too long because they're just still depressing. But I did see a nice little move in the baseball world. We're gonna talk about the White Sox up here. So I believe 2 days ago they did a little swap with the Mariners. Now they traded the Mariners traded Perlander Burrow and Zach Ooh, these baseball
I
names is
got you,
crazy.
Brody. It's Prelander Baroa and Zach Deloach, as well as a
Deloach.
draft pick.
The 69th pick in the 2024 draft, and they gave up Gregory Santos. Now,
Mhm.
Gregory Santos was a nice up and coming pitcher. I believe he's 23 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, he's 23 years old. But he emerges. He's a nice. He had an ERA rate of a 3.39. 66 strikeouts, 17 walks. And he played about, I believe, pitched 60 games, and pretty good. But I kind of like what we got back.
They also made
I'm not
another
sure.
trade. They followed
Oh
it up
yeah,
with a
Dylan.
trade as well. Yeah, with Christian Mena, for Dominic Fletcher. And Dominic Fletcher played for the Arizona Diamondbacks, who
Diamondbacks, yeah.
um who won the National League last year. Ended up losing. So it's just one of those things, man. The White Sox haven't really done too much this offseason, but this is one of those things that can sneakily change the outlook for the squad over the next couple of years, especially that number 69 draft pick. The White Sox historically don't really try to obtain draft capital when they make trades. So you can see that Chris Getz, the new GM, is
Mhm.
trying to take a different approach with this squad. And I'm not mad at it, because
True.
baseball is one of those things where you draft and stash players, and then 3-4 years down the line, you got a stud coming up that you didn't forgot about. And that 69th pick is not a bad thing at all. Getting rid of Gregory Santos is tough, because he's one of
Tough, yeah.
the three players on the team last year who was actually okay. But other than that, man, I like what they're doing. They're going for a youth movement. They're trying to get prospects. They still on the books to try to trade Chris Sale, whether before the season or during the season. But they're definitely in full rebuild mode, and they're going to build around Luis Robert Jr.
Yeah, that's why I was going. Like, Luis is 23, 24 years old. So by the time you probably get that prospect that's come out the minors, and it's about 2 to 3 years in, usually that's around the time most take about 2 to 3 years, the best, maybe a year and a half. So around that 2 to 3 year, maybe fourth year mark, you can start looking at a swing terms of this Sox team. So yeah, all around, I like the anybody can go if they want to put in their little sense.
I'm just gonna say I'm glad that Getz got active. That's it. Like I'm glad that, because for a while it's like, hey, bro, is there a pulse here? Like, what are we doing here?
No,
Do
for real.
do
You
something,
supposed,
poking them with a stick.
yeah, exactly. Like, do something, bro. Like, hey, you realize you just got punched? Like, they stealing your shit. Like, what we doing?
I
No,
ain't
but
gonna
all
lie, we
jokes.
just woke up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm glad. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say it's good to hear that they doing something, because Chicago need a change in all our sports teams, bro.
Yeah.
Like we are too great of a city to constantly deal with mediocre teams, bro. We too great of a sports town to continuously deal with mediocre teams. So hopefully, by taking the expertise of my guy, Big Kev, y'all know he ain't even want to stop talking while y'all playing. But it's good to hear. It's good to hear. You know what I'm saying? That they doing something. So hopefully we continue to move on, and then we could draw more people to tune in.
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna have to do that, because they're trying to get a new stadium in the South Loop, and
Hey,
that would be
nice.
dope. I mean,
Really?
honestly, the way
Yeah,
I
that's a good
see it, like
move.
they should be waiting to see what the Bears gonna do, but I think the Bears gonna stay put. So can you imagine being at Soldier Field, and then like 4 blocks the other way you got the White Sox Stadium, and then a few
Let's
miles north
go.
you got the Cubs Stadium.
And then a
So they're
few
trying to
miles west,
become
you got the United Center. Let's go.
yes. So
Which
we're looking at a
may
situation.
be
Go
the
ahead.
next stadium that needs some serious renovations. But we'll talk about
Yeah,
that on a
that's true.
different day.
No, for real.
Yeah. The Cubs, on the other hand, real quick, because I know this isn't a panel
Yeah,
of
you
true
you
Cubs
got that.
fans.
I ain't saying nothing about that. Go ahead.
No, it's really just all about Cody Bellinger. The Cubs were a decent squad last year.
Mhm.
They ran out of gas last season toward the end.
Yeah.
They basically had a 90% chance of making the playoffs, and then they went on to lose 13 out of 16 games or something like that. It was
It
bad.
was beautiful.
But the real reason why that happened is because they were relying too much on just individual pitchers, whether it was Alzolay out the bullpen, whether it was just Justin Steele, who had a Cy Young type season last year. But they just ran out of gas. So they've shored up their pitchers room. They've picked up Imanaga. They've picked up a few other players as well who can come in and help them out on the back end of that bullpen. But the real thing is just Cody Bellinger. Are they going to get him or Matt Chapman because they didn't let everybody else get signed who they had on their radar coming into the offseason? So for baseball season, you've got spring training starting in about 2-3 weeks with the White Sox and the Cubs on February 23rd. But in the meantime, it's just the Cubs are sitting in a holding pattern with Scott Boras about how they're going to sign Cody Bellinger, because I believe he will be back, but it'll probably be another week or two before he does decide to join the squad.
I think the thing with the Cubs too that I think is a under talked about portion is that they have a lot of prospects in the wing that got mad promise. Like Christian Hernandez could be a monster.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
P. Crow Armstrong as well is another one. And then some lot lesser tier ones, Matt Mervis and so on. Like they have a pipeline that it had, I think, 9 out of the top 100 MLB pipeline players was on the Cubs, and like 4 of them was in the top 50. So they have a lot of promise. The White Sox had 2 people in the pipeline, but the Cubs definitely stockpile players, and they're looking to just move forward. Yeah, for sure.
But when is too many players become a problem? You can't play
in the pipeline,
everybody.
never.
Yeah, because
in baseball,
honestly, y'all gotta clue me.
Yeah, in baseball, never.
No,
because it's really just about having the assets. Because when you making trades and stuff, they move these nights. One of the players that the White Sox traded was 21 years old. They draft players at 16, 17 in the MLB, and then they just have them go play college or go play AAA, single A, double A, whatever, and then they bring them up when necessary. But you can never have too many prospects, like ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when they say pipeline, it's literally a pipeline. Like
this ain't like the NBA with the G League where you looking like why why is he not on the team?
No, it's a dude. I'm looking at like Carl Crawford's son. He got drafted 2 years ago, and he still ain't ready. Like it's a long time. You pay attention. Like it's a real legit system.
Matt Holliday's son, Jackson Holliday, he is out there.
Nice.
Everybody want him. I did a video on that one, and that's probably my most viewed video this year. Was talking about the Orioles pipeline.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And I know I'm getting old, bro. Carl Crawford got a son in there.
Yes.
Hey, what about Frank Gore Jr. tearing it up in his
Frank Gore Jr.
For football?
He playing football.
He was killing in the Senior Bowl.
My goodness. Drip,
what you gonna say, Haize?
I was just gonna say, Dub, just to bring it all home, like when you talk about pipelines for MLB, like bro, you literally got people who won't even sniff being able to drink for 5 years, much less playing in the MLB, bro. But you want them in the pipeline. So
wow, do they pay these kids at 16 or no?
Now they pay them. Well, first of all, a lot of these players, whether it be international or homegrown, they do get signing bonuses. Like there are some players, depending on where you're drafted, like any sport, that'll get a $3 million signing bonus and never play a major league at bat or never pitch in the major. Yeah, in the past, it has been an issue. They just changed it, I believe, before the start of last season in terms of room and board and foods and stuff. It was kind of like college basketball. You remember when it'd be top flight players stealing computers and stealing from grocery stores and stuff because they just didn't have it. That's how it was with Major League. Like it's like we don't even know if we're gonna be able to pay our bills this month, but we on the Major League roster just in AA, AAA. So now they fixed it. They've helped them a little bit more with room and board and food and everything. But up until recently, that was a problem.
For sure.
Yeah, so I'm like the fucking Cubs doing more than the Sox, unfortunately.
They definitely are. They definitely are.
But yeah, it's a we. Nah, that's crazy. But to go into something else that I was almost like poking the stick of do something. In the WNBA world, it's been quite a bit of few noisy days, and I'm sitting here like, okay, sorry, y'all gonna do something. Y'all got Skylar Smith going to the Storm. Aneka Gumakwe went to the Storm today. People re-signing. What's another big move that happened? Washington's point guard went to Phoenix and replaced Skylar. So like it's been a lot of nice moves around, and with the Sky, we took 2 major hits. In my opinion, we lost Elena Smith as well as Courtney Williams, and I was like, Jesus, I don't know what we're gonna do here, but something made me smile a little bit today. We just
what was it, Stevo?
We got the former champion back. I didn't want to see her leave when she left, but we got her back. Diamond the Shields is back as a Chicago
Ooh.
Sky in this motherfucker.
Let's go.
I'll rock with
So,
Diamond.
yeah,
Let's
so
go.
what's y'all thoughts on that? As well as before y'all go, we do have a new coach as well. We talked about as well on Chicago Sky Central. Taretha Witherspoon is probably one of the best coaching people that we could have got at that time. And I like what she did with the development of Zion as well as the whole Pelican squad. So what is y'all whole thoughts about the whole Sky as well as the whole landscape of the WNBA?
You know, I'm gonna take this one away first.
Go ahead.
Mhm.
So I look at the loss of Courtney Williams initially stung. Bringing now back Diamond to Shields because I think Diamond's a more clear fit between Marina Mabry and Clea Copper than what Courtney Williams was. Steve, me and you talk so much on Chicago Sky Central about Courtney Williams was trying to make it work, and you know she adapted her game over the course of that season. She started taking more threes. She's usually the mistress of the mid range. She started taking more threes, but Diamond to Shields is going to be able to come in and bring most of what Courtney Williams had to adapt her game to be able to just be that for the Chicago Sky. And so I really like it, familiar with the system. I think Spoon's going to use her, Dana Evans, Marina Mabry, Clea Copper. They're going to get a lot of tick. Now, the Elena Smith losing her hurt because we saw her develop. Like she was somebody that we signed. Not a lot of people had a lot of hope for. She ended up being one of our bright spots. But don't forget, Isabel Harrison was out, who was originally supposed to be our starting power forward. She's coming back. We still got Morgan Birch, who's probably going to re-sign with her. And I heard something a couple of days ago that Emma may be coming back as well. So I think if those things all come to fruition, I kind of understand why we weren't necessarily in the talks to bring those two players back.
Yeah, especially if we really in the talks again, Ema back alongside with Elizabeth, that's gonna be crazy. I really feel like they're gonna, if they do come back, they're gonna play really well together. They kind of do similar things, but they also are better at similar things. I think Elizabeth is way better on the defensive side compared to Emma. Emma is way better on the offensive side. So I think that's well as I did forget, we also signed Lindsay Allen, who was also a nice guard. So that's as well, but y'all can go ahead as well.
When is the WNBA draft?
Oh, not to the collegiate season.
That's why. Yeah, it's not even over.
It's like right after, right?
Yeah, it's literally like the week after.
Yeah, week later. Yeah, right, like a week later.
Yeah. So we probably like another 6 to 8 weeks from the WNBA.
What pick
Yeah,
do the
because
Chicago
got March Madness.
have?
We don't have any
I
picks.
don't think we have a pick. We don't have no picks.
No, I think we have a second round pick in this draft.
Oh yeah, true.
I think that's
because
it.
last year we kind of took a gamble on Marina Mayberry.
Yeah.
It's
So the
I
draft.
always say her name wrong.
You do, Marina Mabry.
Did she get hurt like as
April
soon as
15th? No, she didn't get hurt at all. She played the whole season. No, Marina.
Who was that got hurt?
That's Isabel Harrison.
Oh, okay.
Isabel and Rebecca.
Hey guys,
Okay.
what do you think Teresa Witherspoon's gonna bring to the Chicago Sky? Because when I remember her back when she was playing, she brought toughness. She brought a professionalism and everything
and expectation. Keep in mind too, they credit her a lot with getting Zion Williamson's mind right.
They did.
Really?
They a lot. I'm talking about heavily with her being one of the things to get that a great relationship. So if you're able to do that, like she's going to bring the expectations of the Chicago Sky rose the moment they hired her. And Kev, to answer your question, we actually have the first pick in the second round, so the Sky could get some nice talent.
Yeah, and that's how
what is it like the number? What is it like the number 13 pick or something?
13,
yeah. I just say, hey, we hope that these Chicago teams can continue to put on. Me and Stevo, when you talked about the landscape of women's basketball, bro, to me, I believe it's going in places that it needs to go because I believe that the women deserve their credit. They tough as hell too. They probably can't go out there and do a couple slam dunks, but they got them post moves out the ass and they're gonna stick defense. They're gonna bring toughness, get on the ground. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm happy to see. But like we talked about it before, me, Haize, I believe we talked about it before. The women's basketball market and teams, what all these damn teams, they suck.
They suck.
Market these players better. You have outstanding basketball women within these franchises across the entire landscape, and you market them like shit. Come on. Bro. We hear more about Ben Simmons than some of these women who are 10 times better than him. We don't care about his whack ass back.
Because and that's gonna be important. They're getting ready to get an influx of big time players.
Super
No,
talented.
you ain't even lying, bro.
Angela
When is
Reese,
Caitlyn coming?
hey, and Juju.
Next year.
They
Yeah.
better get ready for Juju when she get ready to come to the WNBA.
Hey,
That
I
little
swear.
girl,
Hey,
He
you
can hoop.
bringing up a real point, see, because they got about 4 years because she a
Yes.
freshman.
They better
If you
be
ain't
ready.
got it, right, y'all should be pushing her now. I don't care.
Yeah.
You could be putting her on WNBA now.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
the best player in college basketball now.
Yes.
Putting
So
up
you
50,
got
nifty
Fo Wiley,
50s.
you got Fo Wiley, you got the shorty out of Notre Dame, she
Yeah.
cold. Like,
Yeah,
bro,
she raw.
the influx
got
of
a
the
lot of
Whoopi
people.
game is getting
Yes.
too. You
She a
still got
Buckito.
Paige back. Man, the amount of people you got coming in next year, like you said, you got Caitlyn, you got Cameron Burke, you got Paige, Angel if she decides to. South Carolina got a ton of.
Yeah.
She's been healthy this year. It's her teammate Izzy that got hurt, and that's
Okay.
why they're not doing as good. But yeah,
I
go ahead, Ken.
I'll say this about the women's game, as far as marketing is concerned, like they got to figure something out. Something. Work with one of these streaming sites. Talk to Tyler Perry. Tell him to have Madea come out and be the mascot. Figure something out. I'm serious though about figure
They
out
gotta
how
be
to,
serious. Don't play
bro,
with it with Tyler.
figure out
Perry,
how
bro.
to get HGTV or some type of channel that caters to women. I'm serious, so that they can get some eyes on the
Hey,
product.
Bro,
TV.
because I'm telling you right now, marketing. Sorry, and I don't mean this to be sexist at all. Marketing to women to try to go the WNBA is the wrong route to go. I'm going to tell you that right
I feel
now.
you on
You
that
need to
too.
You need to market to the basketball purists, whether they be
Yeah.
men or women. That's how the
Yeah,
WNBA
because it's
needs to be
gonna be
marketed.
more. To me personally, it's gonna be more men that watch it anyway. So you got to put something out there that's going to be able to grab the men that want to watch it, like the Kev Haize said, but also draw that female crowd too. You just
Something got to give. Like something got to give.
Man, he trying to get I ain't gonna lie, Kev. I don't know how I feel to see the Chicago Sky game on network. I don't know. I don't know how I would feel.
HGTV the game on.
BT network and shit. Like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Hey, but now
We need
don't sleep though. Don't sleep on these streaming sites though, for real. Because every time I sign into Max, I see NBA games. Every time I sign into Hulu, you see live sports. Netflix just bought the rights to broadcast the WWE with Monday Night Raw. So like there are opportunities for the WNBA to figure something out, especially during the summer. But it is what it is. It remains to be seen. But I'm excited for the direction that the league is taking in terms of what C-Dub mentioned with that influx of talent that's coming in. Because I see girls catching oops, all types of stuff, dunking in fast break.
That's different.
So things are changing. It's not like with Michael Porter Jr. talking about the best ping pong player don't get no love either. So like, dude, that's what? Did you hear that?
Yeah,
Michael Porter Jr. I get what he was trying to say.
I mean, I got what he said, but he just used the
Bro, he
words
might as well
sport
say,
he possibly could.
The greatest napkin folder can compare to the greatest WNBA. Like the way he said it, bro, was nuts.
That's not right.
That's even worse. But all right, to end off this episode, we're gonna bring a little bit of fun into it.
Hey,
so
bro,
we gotta go ahead.
You sure you want to do this? Because the episode already 48 minutes. That debate gonna be 25 minutes by itself. I'm just saying.
I thought we were
You're
gonna
right,
break this one in
but
half.
I do got something to end it off with instead of a debate that's a little bit more quicker. Now, me and Dub did talk about how we felt like there's a nice amount of influx of bust over the years of NBA, and we kind of gave our reasonings why it is. I mentioned that it has a lot to do with one, the people around you. A lot of these people not being realistic with these kids, not telling them exactly where to go, how good they actually are, and so forth. And second, I also said it has a lot to them. A lot of them picking the wrong programs, and a lot of them just picking a school for money or the status of their school instead of going to a program that best fit their talent. And then thirdly, I said it also has to do with the NBA is filled with more athletes than basketball players. And what's y'all thoughts on that?
Real quick, I just think that right now, with back then, you had players obviously who can be drafted out of high school, but not every player was able to be drafted out of high school. They had to go through it and put in the work. And then if you push right back further, you had the Michael Jordans of the world spend multiple years at their college. Magic Johnson spend multiple years at their college. And they come in as groomed young men ready to take charge. But now you got AAU culture. These guys coming in and they pretty much just hooping, getting all the glamour, and all the clout. Like you said, Stevo, and nobody's really letting them know, like, bro, like, y'all, you need to be better than this and carry yourself a different way. Like, it's always funny when I think about that Brad Beal stuff. He's like, y'all can't guard me. And until you can guard me, you ain't going nowhere. It was a bit harsh, but it was real.
Yeah.
It was real. And they need more people like that to be more real with some of these young guys. And I think that everybody need to stop being so, like, I understand it's hard to turn down money, making money, especially millions of dollars, life-changing money. But everybody shouldn't be a one-and-done player. That's just how I look at it.
I'll just be really quick and say the template has changed to be a superstar in the NBA. All you can do a couple step backs, you can do some crossovers, you can shoot the three, you get paid. So the kids ain't trying to be a complete basketball player. They just want to do one thing, get them through the door, and they good. So when I grew up, I was watching Michael Jordan. When these kids growing up, they watching Stephen Curry. He don't play no defense. He just shoot three, and he got a special talent. Everybody can't do that. So that's what it is. And it's the adaptation of the league, and it's not going to change. It's not.
I still feel like today's NBA gets a worse rap than they should, or worse reputation than they should about defense. I just think that it's just a higher pace, but the top defensive teams are still like 15 to 20 points below the highest league average. So for every Indiana, you got a Knicks or Minnesota or even Boston. Boston's in the top categories for both offense and defense. It's just that teams shoot more threes. They play at a higher pace. But the teams that play defense, Anthony Edwards is a dog on defense. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a dog on defense as well. So, like, you still got players that play defense and teams that preach defense. Houston is another one as well. So I think it's a little bit overblown about how much defense is actually played. And we already know that once the playoffs start, that all of that's out the door. The floor shrinks. All them 130-point games, you're not going to see as often as you do in the regular season. So as far as what Stevo was saying, you're absolutely right. The culture of how players make it to the league has changed. That's just different. It is what it is in that regard. But once they get here, what can you do? Because looking at Scoot Henderson, it's been up and down. He looked raw in the G League Ignite, but it's a learning curve once you get here. So it is what it is, though.
Yeah, get that right. Get that jumper right.
Yeah, that was a full episode of Chi-Town Sports. Hey, we gonna have a lot more of these coming. We gonna be way more consistent. We gonna do this about once a week, but also you're gonna see a lot more me on here. I'm gonna be dropping a lot more gems. I'm not gonna just be talking about Chi-Town Sports too, but it's definitely gonna be a lot of Chi-Town Sports. We're gonna have guests and everything else. But yeah, before y'all go, make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment before all the comments, all the topics that we talk about. We want to hear y'all thoughts as well. But yeah, it's been another episode on Chi-Town Sports Central. It's been Haize, Kev, Bobby, C-Dub, and Stevo, and we out.
We out. Hey.